Good morning and happy Saturday. Welcome in today. So excited to have you here for the season premiere of my Americana crafting and DIYing. But not only that, we are kicking off a wonderful day filled with patriotic style crafting. So you all come on in. You can find all of the information for today's crafting marathon event in my video description if you want to watch for the rest of the day. It's going all the way up until 11 p.m. Central Time tonight, and it's called Patriotic Palooza. All of the info can be found in my video description. If you're watching here live on Facebook, you can find that there. Hope you enjoy the day. So excited that you are here today. And I have been waiting to do this project, and hopefully everything will come together as it's been planning out and playing out in my head. You know how that goes. So come on in. I've shown you a lot of the items already that we are going to be using. I posted a photo on my page and a little video explaining some of the items that we'll be using today. So some of you may be crafting along with me today, or you may want to kind of wait and see how it goes so that if we mess up anything, you'll kind of learn. Let me be your guinea pig, if you will. So good morning, Miss Phyllis. How are you? Mary Lou, how are you? Mary, Sabrina, Southeast Kentucky, a fellow Kentucky watcher. You all do let me know where you're coming in from. I am from Northwest Kentucky, right kind of on the Indiana, Kentucky border, on the Ohio River. Got tongue twisted there for a minute. Good morning, Miss Deborah and Stephanie. All right, you guys, we're going to hop into this. We have a full hour today, so there will be no rushing. We will do some chatting, so if you're watching this on the replay, you can kind of skip ahead, see some steps, you know, whatever suits your fancy. But today, during the live, we will be chatting today. I will be checking in the comments because we have a full hour. I want to enjoy my crafting time. I want you all to enjoy being here, and I want to catch up with you. Good morning from Texas, Miss Jacqueline. Indianapolis, Miss Kelby. Welcome in. Okay, you guys. So each crafter today will be crafting something patriotic themed, and each crafter will have a full hour. Okay, so tune in today as you can. If you miss things, they will all be pinned in the featured section there in the groups, including Craft on the Clock group, and I think it's Crazy Crafting Crew. Anyway, those group links are in my video description, so you can find them there for you, okay? Good morning, Carol from Wyoming. Mary is in Delaware. Trish is in Ohio. All right, you guys, we are using a 3-piece paper mache box set from Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby. Good morning. Good morning. We are going to use the large box and the one piece of the other boxes. So let me pull all these out and show you what comes in this set. I did post a photo of this set for you. It's the $8.99 set, and it comes from Hobby Lobby. And so that's what you get. Okay, and I think I've already thrown the label away, but I think you get, I think this is a 9, an 8, and a 7.5 inch diameter paper mache box set. So we are going to be using the large one for sure. And I don't know if any of you, if you've seen the little sneak peek of the supplies that we're using. Give me some of your guesses on what we could be creating today. We are going to take the top piece of this paper mache box set. You've been waiting all week. Oh, Miss Lisa. I know I've been teasing y'all. And we're going to flip it upside down like this. Okay? Now, I want to make sure that you all can see what we're working with. Hello, Miss Christine. Michigan in the house, Miss Deborah. Welcome on in. And then we are going to use, I think I'm going to use the top piece to the small one. Okay. So the large lid and the small lid. Okay. The large lid is going to lay just like this with the opening facing up. The small lid is going to go down in the center there. And we are going to hot glue that in. Am I seeing any guesses? Good morning, Miss Cindy from Texas. Mary, how are you? Okay, we're going to hot glue this on. And I don't know if I've seen your guesses yet. I'm trying to make sure I'm catching the comments. Good morning, Billy and Carol. How are you? We're kind of looking for guesses on what you think we could be creating with the supply list or the supply picture that I posted a few days ago. A drum Miss Petticoat Peg. I think you're right. We are making not just any regular drum. We are making a primitive Patriotic drum. It's going to be so cute. It is going to be so cute. Now, I do have to give props to Miss Angela from Curly Dimples. No, not Angela. It's April. I'm so sorry. April from Curly Dimples Trading Company. She is the one that inspired me with this project, you guys. And I did ask her permission. I said, I love the drum that you created. I saw a photo that she had on her page. If you all don't follow her, you should check her out. She is one of our vendors that we usually have during the vintage and thrifted marathons, the market day and marathon, the crafting marathon, and we have 2 parts to that. So, and she is one of our sellers on there, and she has the most beautiful items, you guys. So if you're not following her, you want to check her out. Okay, so we've put that small lid inside the top lid. Just kind of eyeball it, center it right there. Good morning, Miss Heather. Good morning, Mary. Okay, now, let me think about this. Okay, I think, let's get this out of the way. We are going to paint this up really quick, and we're going to let that dry. And while it's drying, we have some other items to prep while it's drying. So let me kind of walk you through what I have in mind here. For the actual drum, let's get some little paint cups out here. For the actual, I don't know what you call it. I'm not sure on the technical terms of these drums. Good morning, Jeanette from Upper Michigan. Good morning, Karen. We're going to paint this a dark blue. Now, I want to go with, I got a hot glue stringy, dark-ish primitive colors. This is an Americana Deco Art brand. The color is called navy blue. It's a good navy blue. It's probably not quite as dark as I would like for it to be. So we will tint this just a little bit, because you all know, if you're a regular around here at My Sweet Home Living, I apologize, I did not introduce myself. My name is Tracy Campbell. If you're new around here, welcome. Glad to have you. But I like all things primitive, grungy, rustic, vintage, you name it. If it's new, I make it look old. That's what we do around here. So I've poured some of that paint in here, and I'm just going to mix just a tiny bit of coffee grunge right into that paint and give it a good stir. And I'm going to use a big sponge brush for this. That way we can coat this drum really quick, and there'll be hardly no waiting time to get that paint on there. Just mix that up really good. Sometimes the pigment of that paint doesn't want to quite mesh with that liquid right away, so give it a stir for a minute. It will be a little liquidy, but that's okay. This paper mache will probably soak it right up. Okay, now left from that hat packet or the box package, I still have a medium-sized box and a small size container, which we will repurpose and reuse for another project on another day. So this is the large box, and let's see what color we get with this. And as I suspected, it's still a little bright for me. It's really bright on camera, but that's okay, because we can add some layers to this with other things to darken it up. And I do suspect it will dry a little darker anyway, I think. Once it soaks into that brown paper mache, I do believe it will darken. I am okay if I see paint strokes, because we are kind of going for that handmade primitive style. So that is okay with me. It will also kind of give a little bit of effect of a wood grain, if you will. Okay. It's already drying. It's just soaking right into that. Now, I will finish the bottom of this, but for today's demonstration purposes, I'm going to leave this dry so we can go ahead and sit it upright. So that we can continue working on it without making a big mess on the table. All right, now let's wipe this off because last weekend I did get paint on me on my shirt, so I want to try to prevent that from happening today. All right, we're going to let this dry. And I still have some on my table. I don't know how that happened because I didn't paint the bottom. Okay, while that is drying, we are going to use a brown paint, and this is one of the items that I did not have on my supply list, so I apologize. Kind of changed my mind just a little bit on the color scheme that I was going with here. So we're going to go with a basic brown, and we're going to use that. Oh, I don't need quite that much. Get back in there. We're going to use that for the bottom, I don't know what you call it, the bottom border piece of the drum. Now, where's my other sponge brush in here? Come on. Actually, I probably can get away with using, let's use this. Okay, this brown is really thick, so once again, I'm going to dilute it just a little bit with a little bit of my coffee grunge liquid. Okay, and that'll just thin it down so that it goes on easier. And it will also give me some of that streaking effect that we're going for. Hey, Miss Shelley, good morning. How are ya? 294 in the house on this beautiful Saturday morning. So happy y'all are here. Okay, we're going on, and all we're going to do, actually, I'm not going to paint the bottom of that drum because this is actually the bottom of the drum, and I was not thinking. So we don't even have to worry about that, but I will paint the bottom of this after we're finished. Okay, I do want to get this completely covered, and then we are going to go over it with a little bit of antiquing wax to give us that streaking look on this piece, and probably the other as well. I'm going to kind of give this a quick dry. My dryer seems a little extra quiet today. Not sure, it's not quite feeling it this morning. Good morning, Miss Jillian. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you, Miss Jill. So excited you're here this morning. Good morning, Miss Shelley. My dryer, it's I hope it's not going kapooey on me. It could possibly be. All right, I just kind of wanted to apply the colors to these pieces before I start to assemble them, okay? Because, here's why, and I don't know if I'll be able to explain this to where my brain is going for it to make sense to anybody else. But I want these to look like separate pieces when they are assembled. So, for example, if I put all of this together and dark waxed it all at one time, I would have the same brush strokes that would I would have the same brush strokes appearing on both pieces consistently, and I want there to be a variation in the brush stroking on the bottom piece and this piece. I want there to be different strokes with those pieces, if that makes any sense. It's not terribly crucial, it's just the way my brain works. And that's not always a good thing, but that's where I'm going with this. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at this piece right here, trying to decide if I want to add another coat of that blue. And I think what I want to do here, now hopefully we won't ruin it, I'm going to add a little bit of brown to that blue. we'll test a little tiny spot before we go crazy with this. I'm adding a little bit of that brown paint to my blue. If I had my instant coffee crystals here on the table, I would have just dipped in some instant coffee crystals and darkened it. But I think we're okay, and I don't even know if I added enough for it to even make a difference. So let's add a little bit more. You all can kind of experiment with me this morning. And hopefully it doesn't turn this paint muddy color. I still want the blue to kind of shine through. And I think it is. It just kind of deepened that color. You know, some paints are funny. Some paints, when you mix them together, they look really murky and muddy. And so kind of wanted to test that out before I just went in full force here. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to test, even though I don't have any blue on the bottom here, I want to test. It is a little bit darker. So I'm going to go over it one more time with another layer of this color. And it's still going to be blue, but it's going to have that brown undertone to it, which is going to kind of coordinate a little bit better with that color that I put on the bottom. And any streaks I have in this layer will help that other blue to show through on the bottom. Yeah. Okay, so see what I'm doing here? The thinner I brush that coat on, the more of that light blue underneath you can see, which I like. I really like that a lot. I don't know what that is. Picked up something on my brush. Okay, let's see how well I can get this on without getting it all over my hands. And this, I think, will really give it that aged and worn look. One of the steps to giving it that aged, worn look, rather, because we're going to do some more. I kind of want my brush strokes to definitely be going all in the same direction. If you start going top to bottom, continue that all the way around. But I'm going kind of side to side all the way around to get those strokes. And now, it does look like the paper will kind of bubble a little bit that's on this paper mache box. I'm okay with that because you all know I like things imperfect anyway. Good morning, Miss Lisa and Micah. How are you? We have 371 in the house. How amazing is that? Love it. So glad y'all are here today. I have been planning this project out in my head for quite some time after I have seen Miss April from Curly Dimples Trading Company. She is here on Facebook. She has the most beautiful pieces, and I saw one of her photos of something that she had available in her shop, and I said, "Did you make that? I love it. I want to know more." She said, "Yes, I did." And she kind of gave me the rundown of what she did, and she said, "You want to make it on a live, you go for it." So let's give her a big shout out this morning. I so appreciate her, and just her ideas just are so great. Okay, I love that. That is more of a vintagey navy blue, if you will. Now the lighting, you can see the lighting kind of wants to throw it off a little bit. It's almost a mix between it's just a dark navy blue. That's what it is. Now from a distance, it could almost look black, but it is blue. In real life, it is blue. That's what we have so far. Now, I don't know. I'm putting this together. Do you all see the top of this little brown lip right there? I need to touch that up because I'm seeing part of the cardboard, and I don't want to see that. I want to make sure that that is all covered with the brown. And I'm just going to do a quick swipe of my brush all the way around the rim of that. And that'll take care of that. Let's get the paint off of my hands. Okay. Now, let's let that do a quick dry. It can dry on its own. I didn't put much paint on there. Oh, I was like, where did it go? Here I was trying to be all organized to put everything I needed in this tub. And here I am looking at my table for something. I'm like, oh, it's in my tub. I just got to get my tub out. The next piece that I'm going to need, I am We're going to use a little bit of dark wax really quickly. Let's put the tub down here. It's a little large. And we're going to add a little bit of this dark wax real quick. And then that way we can go ahead and put these two pieces together, because we got to sail right on. That is not dry. Good morning, Miss Shayna. How are you? You love the blue? Thank you, Miss Lori. Okay. Let's do a quick swipe. I'm just going to pull off that wet. I got a little bit too much on there. So I'll just wipe it down, and then that'll help it to dry faster as well. While that's drying, I'm going to take some of this dark wax and I'm going to put it on my drum. Now, the top of this drum, this is the top. Yeah, I'm just thinking ahead. This will be covered, so I don't have to worry too much about, adding this effect to this top rim, okay? I'm basically going to go around this bottom, and I'm using Miss Pat from Unique has put me on this Howard's Chalk Teak Dark Wax, okay? That's what I'm using on this drum. I'm going to brush around the bottom edge, okay? And then I'm just going to go in some random areas and add some streaks, okay? And then we will take, and I forgot to bring any paper towels in here. We'll have to get creative here in a minute. Knew I was forgetting something. That's always a given, right? Always forgetting something. All right. Now, if you're using chalk paint, this wax will also help seal the finish of your paint, okay? Now, it looks a little wet right now, okay? We will rub that in, and it will not appear that way when we're finished. Gosh, I'm still seeing some damp areas on here. Now, I'm going to do the same thing with this piece here, okay? Going around and adding some darker areas. You could do this same technique with some ink, some distressing ink, okay? If you have like a little distress ink pad, you could do the same thing. You could even do the same thing with some diluted darker colored paint, okay? It'll be a little bit harder to get the brush stroking look, okay? But if you are, just determined to get it, it is possible, okay? This just gives a little added depth to some areas and almost gives it that wood look, which is what I kind of want it to look like. I want this to look like a handcrafted drum that could have been crafted out of actual wood. And this dark antiquing wax is giving me that look, okay? All right, I'm going to put my wax brush back in this baggie so that it will stay good for the next time. Now let's do a hand clean. Good morning, Miss Melissa. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you, Miss Krista. I'm always, it's hard to come up with ideas sometimes, I will admit. But you guys keep me on my toes. You're like, I do have a group now where you can share all of your primitive things that you're making. If you've been inspired by something that I have created, I would love for you to share the photos. I have a group called All Things Primitive, and you can post your photos in there. Hello, Miss Elizabeth. Hello, Miss Barb. Newbie, so excited you're here. Welcome into My Sweet Home Living. My name is Tracy Campbell. Okay, now let's start putting these pieces together. All right. Gosh, dog it. I know what I'm going to do. Since I forgot to bring my paper towels to the table, we're going to use just a scrap piece. I'm finding paint all over me. Okay. I'm just gonna have to give myself a little sponge bath here. Okay, I'm gonna take just a scrap piece of my muslin material, and I'm just gonna rub that in. Okay, and that will help take the shininess away, but we'll still have the streaking look as if it was a wood grain sort of, but I don't want that bright shine to be there. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're halfway through. We're good. We are good. I don't normally get a full hour, but we got a full hour today. Okay. All right. Now, I know it seems a little tedious to go through these little details, but it does make the difference. I promise it makes the difference. This piece, I must have went really crazy. Yeah, let me find a cleaner section of that. Okay. All right. What would we do without baby wipes at the crafting table? That's so easy to do. Okay. Now, we are going to put that right in the center, just like so. See where I'm going with that? All right, so let's put on the hot glue, and we'll place that right on. I put on quite a bit, and it's going to go right down in there. Now, I don't know if I explained why I put that smaller lid down inside of that, but the reasoning why is because when I set this piece down in that lid, without that centerpiece raising it up, it wanted to sink down into the lid, obviously, right? And which I was losing some space on the side. So, by putting that other lid, and I'm just applying some pressure down here so that it does sit flat on that other lid. What that does is it allows me to have the full display space of this cylinder. Okay, so with that other lid sitting inside of this one, it just raises this piece up and makes my drum look a little bit taller. Thank you. Good morning, Miss Angela. All right, so for the next part of the process here, let's get some fabric out. This is where we're going next. Let me put some lids on some paints because I can see myself making a big mess here. Okay, I'm going to get my cutting mat. I have designed an image to use on this drum today. I have already shared it with all of you that are on my Telegram channel. So if you are not on the Telegram channel and you want this design, if you type in the comments, if you're watching this on Facebook anyway, if you're not, if you're watching the replay on YouTube, the Telegram link will be in the description of the video. But if you're here watching right now on Facebook, you can type in the word !Telegram, all one word, no spaces, and it will reply back to you in the comments and give you a link to my Telegram channel to where you can go and download this image. It is free for you to share. And let's flip the camera around. Okay, there we go. This is the image that I have designed. I have printed it on paper, and I've also printed it on muslin fabric, okay, material. This is the Betsy Ross flag in really small print along the lines of the white lines there. It just says, I pledge allegiance to the United States of America. Okay, this is a standard 8.5 by 11 sheet of printer paper. So you can print it on paper or you can print it on fabric, either way. Okay. I printed it on fabric and paper to see which one I wanted to do. I don't know. I'm going with the fabric first to see. Let's see. My comments disappeared. telegram, Corleen. It's telegram. There you go. Miss Brenda put it there, exclamation mark telegram. And see, it responded back to her. So if you just click the see more, it will show you the link to where you can go to my telegram to get that design. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here, I thought about cutting the straight edge here, but I don't think I'm going to. What I'm going to do is just make a tiny little slit at each corner of this flag, and then I'm going to rip it, okay, because I like those tattered, I like the tattered edges. And by ripping it, it will help give me that look, that effect. You know what I mean? I'm sure you know what I mean. Okay, so let me show you what I've done here. I'm just taking my rotary cutter and making some little slits at each corner of my flag there. Okay, so first of all, I printed this on fabric. If you want to know how to print on fabric, I do have a tutorial in my video library. It's called How to Print on Fabric. You can go to my video library and look that up. I can walk you through the entire process of how to do that. Okay, so with those slits there, now I'm able to just pull, and I'm pulling into the flag. That's okay. If you're not okay with that, you might want a straight cut. Okay. Well, I had to add a better cut right there on the corner to get it going. And sometimes, not always, sometimes it will tear straight, and sometimes you just get a wonky piece that will not tear straight no matter what you do. That's kind of what we got right now, but that's okay. We're going with it. Okay. Now, this is what I have. Okay. See the threads hanging off? I love that. I love that. And this is printed straight onto that natural colored fabric, muslin with an N at the end. And it already kind of gives you that worn, tattered look. If you want to take it a step further, you could grunge it with a little bit of the coffee grunge and get it a little bit darker. I'm not sure what I want to do, if I want to do that yet or not. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold it up on my box, and I'm going to see, I'm just going to kind of get an idea of the colors that I have going on here. I kind of like it, with the exception of it's a little crooked. It's a little crooked. So I'm going to kind of try anyway to, yeah, it just keeps wanting to tear crooked again. Okay, we're going to leave it. Okay, now let's get, I'm thinking here. I have a little bit of this coffee podge mixture that you guys see me use. And I don't believe I'm going to grunge this any. Or do I? I'm going to Mod Podge it right on to this outside. However, let me show you something. I do not want it centered in that blue area, okay? Because we still have a layer to put on the top that's going to kind of hang over. So I want to place it down a little bit lower. And I also want to make sure that I'm not putting this on the seam. These boxes kind of have seams on them, and I don't want the seam to be visible. So I'm going to make sure that I'm not placing where that seam is anywhere on the front that's super visible. They're hard to find anyway. So once you get your placement where you want it, actually I could just put that right over that seam and it would hide that seam anyway. We're good. We're good. We got it. So I'm going to place it down closer to that lip, that little edging right there. Not all the way. I want there to be a little bit of separation there. I want to be able to see the blue. So I'm going to put it about right there. See the little distance between that brown edging and the bottom of that design? That's what we're going with. I'm just sitting here debating, do I want to treat that material with anything before I Mod Podge it on there? I don't know. I've pulled out some things to experiment with. One is a Distress Oxide spray. I don't know. I'm so torn. What do I want to do? This Distress spray, let me spray a little bit on this little piece of fabric here. And I have not used this in so long. That's not quite the color I want. Let me just experiment with this real quick. And if we end up using it, I'll give you some more details on this. But if we don't, then I don't want to. No, I don't like the look. Okay, that was easy enough. See, just test it out on a sample. That answered my question. That's all I needed to know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this coffee podge, which is just like a Mod Podge with some coffee grunge added to it. You don't have to add the coffee grunge to it. That's just what I prefer to do to give me more of a vintage look to my pieces. Okay, I'm going to apply this to the back of the material. Okay, and you will have to put it on pretty heavy because it's going to soak into the material, and you still need some left over in order for it to hang on to the drum when we apply it and we stick it on there. Okay, I've got it damp, so now let's go over with a little bit more. This will darken it some because of the coffee that's in that mixture. Oh, shoot. Flipped over on me. Okay. Baby wipes. All right. Flip this over. The coffee did come through, and I'm okay with that. It's just not super dark. If we went straight with grunge, let me wipe my table off here, and then I'll scoot this to where you all can see it a little better. That's the problem when you get you too close. Sometimes you can't see where I'm at here. If I have to move out of the camera frame here. I'm going to scoot it down just a tiny bit. Okay. Make sure it's kind of even at the bottom, because that's what's going to be mostly visible. And then I'm going to smooth it down with my finger to work out any wrinkles or air bubbles. And so it gets a good stick to my surface. All right. This is going to look so good. Now, I am going to let that dry before I decide if I want to add any more color, vintage color to it. Okay, so let me put this little corner right here needs a little bit more help sticking, so I'm putting a little bit more of that mixture on the back of it and then pressing it down. Okay, this is what we have. See where we're going with it now. My design is a little wonky at the top, so I'm okay with that. If I wanted to, I can reprint that and try it again. Just make a back side of it. You know what I mean? It's totally okay. Now, for the next step, let's see where we're at on time here. We're good. We got 20 minutes. We are doing good. Okay. Let's slide this out of the way. And I need to make sure the top of this is completely dry, because my next step, I'm going to lay this on some fabric. I have some tobacco cloth. that Miss Esmeralda from Lovett's Garden has sent me. And these smell amazing. She's already coffee grunged these for us, and they smell like coffee, cinnamon, and vanilla. They're perfect. Good morning, Miss Elizabeth. We're kind of new here. Well, I'm so glad you're here, Miss Kim. You liking it so far, Miss Joy? Okay, so now what I need to do, I'm just making sure this is all dry. I'm laying this tobacco cloth out flat because I need to trace around the bottom to cut out a circle, okay, for the top of the drum. All right, I think I'm just going to free cut this, if you will, okay. I've got this on my cutting mat. Let me slide this over out of the way. I have a feeling I'm going to spill that. Okay, this is going to start coming together real fast now. Okay, I'm going to cut out about, I'm just going to eyeball it, but I think I'm going to cut out about 3 inches away. 2.5, 2, 3, you know, you can always cut more and then take off. If you want to later, right? But if you cut it too short in the beginning, you're stuck with it. So I'm making sure that I'm far enough away from my edges, okay? And then I'm just going to start cutting. Make sure that that fabric is pulled tight. And I'm not going to get too hung up on a straight edge, a straight cut, because I'm going to kind of work around that anyway. I'm going to pull out the fibers around the edge. I'm not going to make it look like a straight cut when it's all finished anyway. Okay. So here we go. We just about got it. There we go. Now let's see. Whoop. Missed a little spot there. Did we get it? Did we get it? Did we get it? We got one little spot right here that didn't cut all the way through. Okay. Now, while I'm sitting here with this, I'm also going to cut a strip off of the edge of this. So I'm going to continue using this cloth. It's not going to go to waste. I'm going to cut a long strip and I'm going to tear it maybe, if it will cooperate, because we're going to use this for another piece to this drum in just a second. Okay, long piece like so, and I'll probably cut that in half. Okay, so it's about 1 inch wide. Okay, and probably, let's see, it's about 15, 16 inches long. Okay, we're going to use those in a minute, so let's set those to the side. Now, this is going to go along the top. Now, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time right now, but on the edge of this fabric, okay, I need to go around. You can do this with a little sanding block, or you can do it with your fingers. But what you want to do is you want to go around the edge and you want to fray those edges, okay? I don't have the luxury of too much time to do that right now. So I'm going to skip that step for right now. And this is going to go around the top of the drum. Let me kind of give you a little bit better idea there. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down. Excuse me. I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to put my drum, putting it top down over that circle, and I'm going to kind of make sure that I've kind of got it centered the best that I can. And if we need to trim it up later, we can definitely do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit of the hot glue, and I'm just going to make a little bead of glue around the top edge of my drum. And when I do that, I'm going to then take the cloth, I don't know if you guys can see this, I'm going to pull it up and smash it into that bead of glue. Okay, do you see what I'm doing there? You might have to swipe your comments over. I'm pulling it up and I'm pressing it down into that glue, and then I'll do another little bead, okay? Working a small section at a time. Be careful that you're not pulling your circle out away from the drum, because then you're going to end up with an off centered piece. Okay, so we're going to go all the way around. We're almost there. We're about 2/3 the way. But take your time and you'll get a better result. If you rush through it too fast, then it'll probably show. You know what I mean? So take your time doing that. Okay, now on this last little stretch that I have here, I'm going to make sure, I'm going to flip it back over, and I'm going to make sure I have it pulled really taut, really tight, and then press it down. Okay, now this is what we have so far. Okay, I will, see, like I said, you want to trim big first, because then I can go back and I can cut off some when I'm ready to. Okay, all right. We're going to need upholstery tacks. Thank you so much for the stars. I so appreciate that. We're going to need some tacks. We're going to need some jute string. Okay. And we're going to need a couple other things. So let me kind of show you what we got going here. I will trim this very last. I'm not going to trim it until I'm completely finished with it, because I kind of want to see what it looks like. I grabbed these decorative tacks at Hobby Lobby, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right in the front center of my drum. Okay, I'm considering this my front center. Thank you so much for the stars. I so appreciate you. Y'all are loving it. All right, and so I'm going to put my first tack right in the front center of the bottom of my drum. And with this paper mache, that will go in pretty easy. Okay, now to make sure that we get this even, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go directly to the back of my drum. And you might kind of have to look at it from the top to kind of get an idea. I'm going to eyeball it. I'm going to put one in the back. I think we'll use a total of 4 on the bottom. So if you just space them out evenly, that makes it fairly easy. Goodness, where'd they go? Don't want to step on that. All right, that's right there. And then we'll go in between these two, right about there. Okay, I probably shouldn't have pushed those all the way in just yet, but I can pull them out really easy. And then when we're finished, we'll place a little bit of glue behind those and then press them down flush, okay? But we need them sticking out. Do you see how I have it sticking out a little bit right there? Because that's going to help us to put our string in there in just a moment. Now, now what we're going to do is in between each 2 of these tacks, we're going to put one at the top. Okay, so as you see, I've got 2 here, the top one will need to go right in the center. So find your center point between these two and then go up. That's where my top one's going to go. Come on, get in there. It doesn't want to go through that fabric real easy. There we go. Tickle my nose, tickle my nose. So we'll do the same thing between these two. Find the middle point. Put your tack in. Just watch your fingers. Okay. I'm just eyeballing it. If you want to measure, go for it. I'm too impatient to be to measure, honestly. Okay, there we go. That's what we have right now. Now, let's put those tacks away for just a minute. And I've got my jute string here. And I am going to start at the bottom here, and I'm going to go up. Do you see what I'm doing here? Got that string right there. I'm going to go to the top, place it at the top, go down. We're just zigzagging. Zigzagging it up and down until we get it where we want it. Now let me see. This is going to be the back, so this is where I want to stop my string in the back. So I'm going to wrap it around an extra time. Okay, now let's go to this side. In a perfect world, I probably would have grunged my twine a little bit, my string, my jute. And I can take this back off after I'm finished here, and I will probably grunge it up a little bit so that this twine looks really old and aged. Okay, so quick tip there if you want to do the same thing. And I'm going to finish it in the back and then press those down. Okay, that's what we have so far. Now let me cut this, and real quick I want to show you something, and I'm not going to probably be able to do this right now because I want to show you the last step to this, to the pieces, the accent pieces. This is a piece of wired jute, and I think this came from the Dollar Tree. What I'm going to do around the top edge here is I'm going to grunge this up as well, and I'm going to take this around and I'm going to put that also under my tacks there, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a finished edge around the top. Do you see that? So you can do that. You can just secure it with a little bit of hot glue, or you can put it right underneath those tacks. Okay, whichever works best for you. For right now, I think I'm just going to put it on there, and I'm going to cut it and twist it in the back so that it'll kind of stay put while we're finishing up here, and then I will secure it after I get off of the video here. Okay, so let me just secure that, and I'll twist it in the back for now. There we go. See how that's looking? But I don't want those to hide my tacks. All right, you get where I'm going with this, right? Okay, now I will cut this a little bit smaller around the rim, just a little bit, and I will tatter the edges of my material. See where we're going? Okay, now every drum needs some drumsticks. So I have these little wooden balls. Okay, I grabbed these at Hobby Lobby, and these might be a smidge big, but I'm okay with it. I'm going to take 2 of these balls, and I'm going to take 2 wooden dowels. See where we're going with this, right? Now, I haven't decided if I want to stain these or if I want to paint them with some similar colors. So I'm going to put them together and then decide how I want to stain or color them or finish them after the live. And you can do the same thing. I want to see what color schemes, what designs you come up with. You could paint some real cute stars on the end of these balls. You could stripe these sticks. You know, the sky's the limit. These balls do not have a hole, but these are 3/16 diameter wooden dowels. And so I have a 3/16 inch drill bit, and I'm going to drill a hole down in these little balls about halfway. See, like that? Going to do that on both of those. Whoop, won't go backwards. And then all you'll have to do, sorry about that, that was too loud. Put a drop of hot glue. Let's make sure that they're going to fit. Yeah, they'll fit. Gosh, I don't even think I'll need glue. That's a pretty snug fit. I'm going to, I don't know. I still haven't decided how I want to finish these pieces off. But here's going to be my little primitive, little drumsticks, and I will probably, whatever I choose to do, if I paint them or if I stain them, I'm still going to come back and sand them down and apply more of the coloring, the layers. I want it to all coordinate with the browns, the blues, and those vintagey colors. So that's how I'm going to finish those in some way. I will probably shorten the sticks just a little bit, but Miss April from Curly Dimples Trading Company that gave me this idea, she also took a little bit of the edging. Remember those little strips that we cut off a while ago? And she just wrapped it around the end of her stem, stick, drumstick, whatever you want to call it, like so. And that kind of gave a little extra texture to the end of her drumsticks, okay? And glue it down just like that. So it would look something like this at the end, okay? And once you stain those up and prim them up, then you can display those right on top of your drum like so, okay? Now I'm going to grunge these up, paint them up. I think I'm going to paint them and then grunge them to match the same coloring that I have on my drum. But we are going to create a little companion piece to this. Woohoo, this way. My camera's backwards. There we go. A little companion piece to this drum one day next week. I've got to look at my calendar and see when I'll go live. But it will probably be Wednesday if I had to guess. Wednesday we'll create the companion piece that goes with this drum. So you all tune in. If you're on my Telegram channel, you will get the notification as well there, telling you whenever we'll go live. But you all get started on your drums. I can't wait to see your photos. I'm going to work on finishing these up, the little drumsticks. Enjoy the rest of the day of the Patriotic Palooza Craft Day, and I will see you on Wednesday. Stay tuned. See you later. Bye-bye.